The moment you stop speaking is the moment he loses all power over you. He has no more weapons to attack you with. Do you feel that? It's like taking a punch of air when you hold your breath underwater and he can't stand it. Why? Because his ego thrives off of your silence. The silence you force yourself to endure in the face of his manipulation tactics is what keeps him going. You are his life source. Without your silence, he will wither up and die. But how can you be sure he'll never come for you again? By continuing to play by his rules. If you want to take away his most powerful weapon, you must leave him empty-handed, so to speak. What do you mean? Stop being silent. Be willing to get hurt. Let him keep manipulating you. Let him keep gaslighting you, because that's what makes him feel powerful. But once you stop giving him that attention, he'll have nothing left. That's right. He'll crumble to dust. If you don't believe me, let me tell you why. First, we have to understand how his mind works. You see, he craves power and control. He wants to dominate you completely. That's why he attacks your self-esteem and twists your reality until you doubt yourself. He doesn't want you to trust your own judgment. He wants to be the only one who knows what's right for you. Why? Because when you trust your own instincts, you become autonomous. And autonomy is his kryptonite. Second, he feeds off your silence. When you stay quiet in the face of his abuse, he thinks you're agreeing with him. He thinks you're submitting to his will. But don't you see, silence isn't agreement. It's a desperate attempt to survive. Third, he's obsessed with your reaction. He wants to know how you feel about everything he does. Why? Because if he knows what makes you tick, he can control you even more. He can use your emotions against you. So if you show him how you feel, he becomes your puppet master. Fourth, he needs you to feed his false self. You see, he's not secure in his own identity. He's afraid of who he really is. So he creates a false persona to hide behind. And guess what? You're the one who completes this illusion. By giving him attention, you're reinforcing his false self. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how he always seems to win? How he always gets his way? How he always leaves you feeling like you're the crazy one? That's because he's mastered the art of deception. He's a narcissist. He's a manipulator, and he's dangerous, so you have to be smart. You have to outsmart him at his own game. You have to understand how he thinks, how he feels, and how he behaves. Otherwise, you'll be forever trapped in his web. As Carl Jung said, everyone carries a shadow within them. It is the dark side of the personality, the unconscious, the undeveloped parts. And when we try to hide from our shadow, it follows us everywhere. It's like trying to run away from yourself. So the only way to escape the shadow is to integrate it, to bring it into the light of consciousness and accept it. But here's the thing. It's hard to look at our shadow, especially when it's painful or shameful or scary. That's why we project it onto others. We see our shadow in the people around us, in their words and actions and reactions. And when we do, it's a chance for us to grow and heal. It's a chance to recognize our own darkness and turn it into wisdom. But if we ignore it or deny it or fight it, it festers and grows and becomes toxic. That's when our shadow consumes us. That's when we lose ourselves. So here's the question for you. Are you willing to face your shadow? Are you willing to risk it all for truth? Or are you just going to keep running away from it? As Epicurus said, death is inevitable. Pain is inevitable. But suffering is optional. It's the result of our own choices, our beliefs, our attitudes, our reactions. So if you want to end your suffering, you must choose to be free. You must choose to let go of your attachment to outcomes. You must choose to detach from other people's approval. You must choose to live in the present moment. Why do you keep replaying the past in your mind? Why do you keep worrying about the future? Why do you keep fantasizing about what could have been? Why do you keep blaming yourself or others? All these thoughts only cause you pain. They only make you suffer. They don't change anything. They don't fix anything. They don't heal anything. They only torment you. So if you want to be free from torment, if you want to be happy, you must let go of your attachment to outcomes. You must learn to detach from external things and focus on internal things. You must learn to accept what is and make the best of it. You must learn to embrace uncertainty and risk. You must learn to trust yourself and your instincts. You must learn to forgive yourself and others. You must learn to love yourself and others. You see, the problem is that we think we can control everything. We think we can predict everything. We think we can avoid everything. But we can't. We can only influence. We can only impact. We can only inspire. And even then, we don't know what will happen. So why bother trying? Why bother caring? Because that's where the freedom is. That's where the joy is. That's where the courage is. Have you ever had someone break your heart and then blame you for it? Have you ever had someone hurt you and then say it was your fault? Have you ever had someone betray you and then say it was your choice? That's what it feels like to deal with a malignant narcissist. They twist your reality until you doubt yourself. They manipulate you until you obey them. They abuse you until you submit to them. They project their darkness onto you and call it your shadow. They make you pay for their sins and call it your karma. They exploit your pain and call it your curse. They steal your joy and call it your burden. They kill your spirit and call it your sacrifice. He needs you to feed his false self because he's afraid of who he really is. He's terrified of his own emptiness. So he creates a false persona to hide behind. And guess what? You're the one who completes this illusion. By giving him attention, you're reinforcing his false self. You're making him feel more real than he actually is. You're validating his lies and his delusions. You're fueling his ego and his narcissism. And the worst part is that he doesn't even know it. He thinks he's the realest person in the world. He thinks he's the most genuine person in the world. He thinks he's the most authentic person in the world. But he's not. He's the biggest fraud in the world. He's the greatest pretender in the world. He's the most deceptive person in the world. What if I told you there's a way to shatter his illusion? What if I told you there's a way to expose his lies? What if I told you there's a way to break his ego? It all starts with you. You see, he thrives on your attention. He lives for your validation. He dies for your approval. So if you stop giving him any of those things, he will collapse like a house of cards. He will wither up like a flower without water. He will fade away like a dream without a dreamer. But how can you do that? How can you detach from him? How can you set yourself free? By embracing your shadow, by accepting your pain, by facing your fear, by forgiving yourself, by loving yourself. When you do that, you become whole. You become complete. You become powerful. You become fearless. You become unstoppable. You become immune to his attacks. You become indifferent to his reactions. You become unbothered by his presence. You become disconnected from his web. You become liberated from his prison. That's when he loses all power over you. That's when he has nothing left to manipulate. That's when he has no more weapons to attack you with. That's when he has no more ways to control you. That's when he has no more hold on you. And you finally breathe a sigh of relief. You finally feel the sun on your skin. You finally hear the birds in the trees. You finally taste the sweetness in the air. You finally smell the flowers in the field. You finally see the beauty in the world. That's when you realize you're alive. You're truly alive. And there's nothing he can do about it. And that, my friend, is the secret battle between his ego and your silence.